Peace, peace. What's going on, fam? It's your brother Naheem, BKA Lord Abba, aka Mr. Just the Facts. Bear with me. I'm having some technical difficulties right now, and I'm trying to get everything up and running so that it could look normal. I believe a couple of the bros are gonna come on in a few minutes, but for the meantime, in between time, you can hit the like button. You can share this video out. I think that it's an important conversation that we're going to have. Civil unrest is it's about to grip this nation. And I believe that us having a conversation about it and becoming prepared for it is definitely a way for us to, talk to each other so we can start making some type of plans. We might not necessarily make no plans on this particular live stream, but we can get up with each other and think about what we can do for our family and our friends, or the people who are close to us. So while I'm getting everything set up, brother Ali, if you wanted to just set it off real quick.
Hey, peace. Peace. Let me know if you can hear me okay.
I hear you, brother.
How is it sounding tonight, man? Let me know.
Oh, yeah, you good. You good.
All right. Let me ask you a question, because I didn't hear the very beginning. Did you go through any of the stuff from the Cornerstone speech or no?
No, not yet. I wanted to start off by playing the video.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the videos,
Yes.
but I'm having
Right.
some PC issues right now.
So let me see if I can pull it up, because I think this is important in terms of what's actually already happening. We see what's happening in Philadelphia, but understand that Philadelphia is not the only place where chaos is actually starting to jump off, right? So right here in New York City, where I am, stuff has already started to go crazy. And so there have been different postings of videos showing some of the stuff that's going on in different parts of the city in New York. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up, hold on a second. I'm going to pull up video from some of what's happening in New York and share that, if that's cool with you, bro.
Oh, yeah, definitely, brother.
Let me see. Okay. So pardon me, because hold on.
All right. Just tell me.
Can you see it or not? All right, wait a minute. Let me just make sure that I'm sharing the audio as well. Okay, because I know you have to also share audio so people can see it. Now, this particular clip, is actually 4 minutes and change, but I want people to see it because it's giving you a demonstration of how chaotic things are actually starting to get already. And this is not even we didn't even really go through the election yet. We just getting there. But there's been a lot of promises coming from different groups of people about, civil unrest, threats of violence, different things of that nature. So this is just an example. And I say if it can go on in New York City, this can go on anywhere.
That's a fact.
So let me know when you're ready for me to play it.
All right, yeah. Can you put that on full screen?
Yeah, let me do that. That's the full screen. I don't know if that helps, but that's the full screen.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Let me see if I can.
So we're gonna play this, family, and I want y'all to, if you haven't seen this is just one of the videos coming out of New York City, just one of them.
This is the New York City Police Department. This assembly is unlawful. You are ordered to disperse. If you leave voluntarily, no charges will be placed against you. If you refuse to leave, this Police Department. This assembly is unlawful. You are ordered to disperse. If you leave voluntarily, no charges will be
Cops
placed
going
against
crazy.
you. If you refuse to leave, you will be arrested for unlawful.
Oh shit! Oh fuck! Oh!
This assembly is unlawful. You are ordered to disperse. If you leave voluntarily, no charges will be placed against you. You will be arrested for unlawful assembly. You will be arrested for unlawful assembly in New York City Police Department. Charges will be placed against you. You will be arrested for unlawful assembly. Assembly is unlawful. You are ordered to disperse. If you leave
Look at the police vehicles.
Oh yeah. they going in out there.
Yeah, they are wild.
Carlton Cooper, this is what's going on in New York City right now.
Crazy.
you will be arrested for unlawful assembly. Is unlawful.
Stop filming! I'm not coming here.
Walter Wallace.
Get behind us! Try and get those behind us!
Refuse to utilize the sidewalk. You will be placed under arrest and charged with disorderly conduct.
Bedlam. This is just one of the videos. Somebody said this is Antifa Mo. It don't matter who it is. It's a war going on outside. No man is safe from. Now, I think this is Manhattan. Oh no, this is I think this is Brooklyn.
That one's in Brooklyn.
Yeah, this is Brooklyn, Mark.
All right. Look at the police cars. Yeah, so that's what you have right now, right? That's just one video. There are a few others, man, and you if you want, man, I can pull that up too.
Yeah, pull that one up, but let's give some context to what's going on. Shout out to everybody in the building. Hit the like button, share this out. We are in some troubling times right now. You know, we've always, as those of us who descend from the institution of slavery here in America seen tumultuous times, but we can admit that we have never ever seen times like this, you know, and
Right.
we got to start making sure that we are secure in our own persons, number one, our families and our close friends, and we're going to speak to some of that tonight as well. You know, start coming up with little contingency plans with your families and the people that you know, because we don't know how things are gonna go. I remember I used to tell my mother, like, we need to stock up on water and foodstuffs, et cetera, et cetera. She used to look at me like I was crazy. But after a while, after the years went by, she started to see a lot of what I was saying was coming to fruition. And she got a nice little stash now.
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
flashlights, everything, you know.
Yeah,
So
we stocked up crazy in here, man.
mm-hmm.
And we're going front.
Oh yeah,
our shit.
Brother Grimm.
Peace, peace, God.
Peace to the God.
Yeah, brothers. I mean, y'all know, man. Preparedness has basically been all I've been on lately, and all I've been talking about, because you know the nature of man is inconstant, you know, and
Fact.
we
That's
know
right.
that. And like I was talking to Josh the other day, and we was having conversations on this, and I don't know, you know, brother Josh, he said he had some questions, but people need to realize and get out this cartoon mode of thinking that everything is always going to be all right, you know, and social unrest and civilization breaking down is like a real thing. The possibility of
Yes.
it is a real thing. We not saying that it's gonna happen, but you know, you have one of the greatest things. I mean, I don't want to beat Josh to the punch, but you know, I've seen societal breakdown. Like personally, have seen societal breakdowns. Where and I want this to really hit hard for the sisters. I really do. And the reason I want this to hit hard for the sisters is because I know there's a lot of sisters out there that are I don't want to say alone, but by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, sometimes sisters are even grouped up when they're going through things. And as far as, you know, supporting each other and stuff like that. But I really wanted them to be prepared, and I wish that I would have did more or whatever on my social media platform to basically inform sisters, man, because you know, when societal breakdown happens, people lose all inhibition. You follow what I'm saying? And basically, the thin veneer of civilization disappeared, because we've seen that after Hurricane Katrina. And anybody who was around in New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina, you know, actually seen what societal breakdown looks like. Because one of my other friends that I talk to always talk about this. There's not enough police, period. And what I'm saying is that there's not enough police to control all of those people. Even at some of those protests, the only thing that's really, you know, they portray the protesters as these mean, bad, and violent people, and they taking stuff. You know, a lot of that stuff, even though it's bad and it's being done, a lot of that stuff is being done under restraint. And what I mean by that is that if things really went bad, like y'all was showing that at the footage right before I came on, you know, that's all they have to do is basically bum rush the police. It's not enough of them. And we seen that also in the unrest in Philadelphia recently, where the police actually were in retreat from the masses actually throwing bottles and rocks and other objects at them. So this thing can break down, and you know, this is not a civilized society. Whereas people will say, "Hey, this is just limited to the breakdown of the police, and that everything is aimed at the police only. People go start getting TVs. During the hurricane, I saw people, breaking in department stores. I'm like, man, it's soaking rain, it's soaking wet. The streets are flooding with water, and people are going for big screen TVs. This is basic. I don't want people to get it mixed up, man. Even though we're fighting for rights, we're fighting to get treated equally under the law. We're fighting for socioeconomic rights. We're fighting for reparations. But this thing, man, can go south for a little bit in a little while. So it's good to get yourself together if you haven't gotten yourself together. And one thing is about, I'll jump off, but one thing, man, we could probably go in and out of this topic, but self-defense, and I say that if you're a man in a household or whatever, relating to, I know there's some, I talked to Brother Ali and Josh, there's certain jurisdictions that is actually hard. But if you brothers living in the South and you don't own a weapon to protect your family, that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
You brothers out there, and I'm not judging and I'm not being judgmental. I'm just coming straight up the middle. You see Way L training all the time. I'm training all the time. I'm running. I'm getting my cardio on. If you a man, and I hate to be sexist with this thing, if you a man, you need to be training. You should have been training. You should have been learning how to fight. You see these little fight videos on YouTube all the time with young brothers getting beat up in the street on a bus by European males, because the science of violence is something that the African American community have not been fully invested in. And we are actually seeing that, Brother L, right now, where these militia groups, they didn't just wake up one day and started militia groups when Trump got in office. These people have been preparing for this stuff for years. Martial arts schools, going to the range, hunting, camping, fishing. They've been preparing for this stuff for years.
That's
and
right.
A lot of our people, our emphasis is placed upon Gucci and Prada and Coco Chanel and all of that kind of stuff that we place our emphasis in, when these dissatisfied counter citizens is what I call them. These affected counter citizens have been studying the science to basically slaughter you all in the street. And this is what we're seeing right now.
That is a fact. So, I mean, Ali, did you want to queue up this next video, or did you want to run through some more things real quick?
Yeah, I have the other.
All right, let's cue that up, and because I want the family to understand the context of tonight's conversation based on what is actually happening in real time. This is not the Ferguson protests that we seen after Mike Brown was murdered by that racist cop. It was some civil unrest, but what's going on right now is different. What's going on is a product of one, a corrupt administration, right? But then you ask yourself, when it comes to our people, which one of these administrations were not corrupt? I believe that they all were. So what we're looking at right now, this chaos, this bedlam, this mayhem in the streets of New York City and the streets of Philadelphia, where they are, as my brother Grimm just mentioned, beating the cops back, beating them back, is a precursor. It's a precursor to what I believe of things to come after Tuesday, because the people that are down with the Proud Boys, the white supremacists, and I'm going to get into some of that in a few, they say that if Trump wins, there's going to be riots, and they're preparing for the riots. If Trump loses, there's going to be civil war, and they're preparing for the civil war. Our response to that is, hey, get out the way and let them Let them people do what they do. But we are still so isolated among each other that we have to start from this point forward putting together some type of contingency plans for ourselves and our families. So let's run through this video real quick. See if you can expand that, Ali. No, go to the.
Go fuck yourself, Giuliani. You fucking scum.
You're a rare gentleman.
Remember, this is New York City, family. This is New York City.
Cops are standing right there.
The cops know they can't do much. They'll make the situation worse.
For the victory. New York hates you. What's up?
Kid, this is our country, this is our city, this is our town, and this is our president. Where? You can stop.
Eat this bill.
No control, man. What is that, Midtown, Ali?
Yeah.
That's Midtown Manhattan.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's right in Times Square. You can see the tickets.
Yeah.
She gave it back.
That was funny. I seen that earlier. That was funny. Somebody said New York so big, I live here, and they hear about this.
Yeah.
I want the one hat. You want my daughter's hat? This one right here. This one.
I haven't done anything.
That's good.
I haven't done anything.
Man, it's crazy how they just took that Trumpster word against, and he just pointed out any guy, you know? That was a nice jab, by the
That was funny. Oh, hit him, 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 move, hit him, hit him, move.
I got a gun too. A licensed gun. How about I shoot your fucking head off?
You seen the blood on the ground?
Uh-huh.
This dude leaking.
I gotta help you. You gotta get to the ambulance on the other side. Okay? Don't worry, we gotta get you to a hospital. Come on.
I didn't do anything. What do you do? I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. You're in the street. Out of the street.
Cops arresting people that's not doing nothing instead of the people that's brawling.
Right.
Sound like NYPD to me.
This is a problem. This is the problem.
Let's go. No.
New York City Police Department. This assembly is unlawful.
Yes, Riri. The biggest takeaway from this is we need to stay the hell out the way.
Yeah. So
Yeah, man.
That's it.
Yeah. All right, so just to give a little more commentary on what we've seen so far. I mean, it speaks for itself. Chaos, family. Yeah. We are witnessing chaos, and I wanted to share this because this is one element of what's going on. Right? You have the right wing versus the left wing. This has always been a fight in the United States of America, but the issue was always predicated upon our suffering as a people. Those of us who were once enslaved and who were freed, the freedmen and their descendants. And now this fight has morphed into various different groups fighting against the fascists and the fascism that has always been in this nation since its inception. The problem that I don't want people to lose sight of, because we have the same ideals, right? Sister Shanna, yep, white folks' problems. Let's get out the way, let them do what they do. But I watched several documentaries over the past week and a half, and in two of the documentaries specifically dealing with white supremacy, one woman had wrote a book, and I mentioned this, it may have been on the last live, and I can't remember. I was trying to find that thing today. I just couldn't find it. I know I shared it on my Twitter wall, and I believe I shared it on my Facebook wall, but I just couldn't find it. And she wrote a book. She's a Jewish woman. So one of the guys that are interviewing her asks her about anti-Semitic sentiment. And she said, yeah, it's there, but almost everything that they're built upon is anti-blackness. This is why listening to people like young Pharaoh, who's helping to shear sheep from the back so that the wool fall over their eyes as they walk into the slaughter are very dangerous in this time right now. We have to come up with a plan, with plans among our local, and this is something that we can work on collectively behind the scenes just to get something going for our families. But to stress, although these people are battling against each other, do not forget the main takeaway. And the main takeaway is, at the core of white supremacy is anti-blackness. Period. It has always been this way. So my brothers go in before we pull up some articles, etc.
Facts. Yeah, I don't know if Josh, man. I know Josh has some stuff, man, that me and him was discussing. If I don't know if he was willing to go into it at this point.
Yeah, he's a little tied up right now.
Okay.
Grum.
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, man. You know, this conversation that we were having was interesting because you were, you know, I thought you would be a great person, if not the best person, to talk about this because of your experience in New Orleans, coming from a person who had to endure Hurricane Katrina, and also, I mean, and I don't know how much you're willing to share about that experience, and how that really maybe shape you moving forward. And also being, you know, especially being in Louisiana, where it's a red state, you know, it's the deep South, and you've seen militia groups, and you experience things on your day-to-day interactions with people and all those things, man. If you want me to refresh me a little bit more, if there's anything in more detail you want me to hop on, let me know. But could you kind of go in on that?
Yeah, I'll go in, man, as much as I can from my experience. But, and I touched on it just a little bit earlier, man, that if people think that a society can't break down, Hurricane Katrina, in the beginning of it, was a perfect example of how society can break down and that police can do nothing about it. As a matter of fact, police participated in the breakdown of society. And I know Brother Lionel in the house, he could probably drop some stuff in the box too about his experiences, because, man, they had police that were breaking in jewelry stores. They were stealing cars. One guy got caught, you know, transporting the stolen, I think it was like Cadillacs or something like that. You know, they were basically transporting the Cadillacs from New Orleans to Texas. Just absolute breakdown in society. And you know, I know a lot of the media downplayed this. There were a lot of women getting raped. That's why I'm a major advocate of women learning how to fight and carrying guns. I'm a major activist. I mean, a major advocate for that. I remember the sister, and she talked about this, is a kind of famous. I don't know if anybody heard of the Neville family.
Aaron Neville.
Yeah, with Aaron Neville. Well, one of his sisters, Charmaine Neville, you know, and I hate to be talking about this, but like I say, I want this to hit home from for the sisters. I see my boy he is in the house, but Charmaine Neville was taken and kidnapped during the aftermath of the storm. And see, all of the breakdown happened after the storm when the levees broke. They brought that sister on top of an elementary school by the name of George Washington, and they raped that sister. And you know, that's why I'm a big advocate for sisters in self-defense. There were people stealing things, breaking in houses, breaking in stores. And if there's a breakdown, you know, bringing it back to 2020, COVID was a major factor in showing people how this thing can break down, because you had people that were in the stores. I remember one of the videos where this sister was fighting these two Caucasian ladies. They took every last roll of tissue paper out of the store. Those things can happen. But basically, the reason that, you know, Brother Naheem wanted to have this show, because we was building upon it, that I know we close to the election, but do as much as you can, but don't be sitting around with a week's worth of goddamn food in your house, because you will never know. And even with this, with some of y'all in the western states, in the Midwest, and some of y'all in the North, this COVID is ramping back up. You don't know if Joe Biden might get in office and shut this thing down and restrict movement. We just don't know. So don't be sitting around with no goddamn frozen pizza in your fridge.
Facts.
Go get some food, some lasting goods, durable goods, and things of that nature. And if you have a weapon, just make sure your weapon is maintained. You know, and like, I'm not advocating violence, but I'm advocating self-defense. I want to read a quote by the famous Ida B. Wells, right?
All right, before you do that, Grim, let me just do this one thing. It's only going to take not even 30 seconds. This is a place where I get some of my bulk stuff from. It's called Webstaurant Store. I'm going to put the link in the chat. They have a lot of bulk stuff here, regular stuff, not no off name brand stuff, regular stuff at good prices. So the name of this is called Webstaurant Store. Stock up, family. I'm going to put this link in the chat. Go ahead, Brother Grim.
Yeah, man, that's excellent. I'm glad you showed that. You know, just stock your house up. Make sure, you know, from the school of thought that we come from, we always say, have like, you know, a 90-day supply of food. Stock a 90-day supply of food. Now, and I'll lead the brothers. They could tell y'all, not me personally, after Hurricane Katrina, and particularly after this, you know, I even have my own damn animals.
Oh yeah,
you know,
my boy.
That's how serious I'm personally about this thing. But I just wanted to read Ida B. Wells' quote real quick. She said this: "A Winchester rifle should have a place of honor in every black home, and it should be used for that protection which the law refuses to give us." Now we got Ida B. Wells talking about that. And, you know, a lot of our Caucasian counterparts, and I don't want to turn this into a Second Amendment conversation, but I'm going to say real quick, you know, piggybacking off of what I said earlier, that a lot of our Caucasian counterparts have been taught the value of guns. Now, we have guns too, but we were taught that the only value of guns or weapons were basically in the criminal arena. So there are a lot of law-abiding African-American citizens that do not own firearms. And I'm not saying that you have to be a Rambo, but there's, in my opinion, this just me, there is not any legitimate reason that a man who is willing to defend his family should not own a firearm.
Facts.
You know what's crazy, Grim, about what you're saying? One of the things that you find, particularly in the tri-state area, I'm not too sure about Connecticut, but I know in New York and New Jersey, the laws that have been crafted make it very difficult for individuals to get firearms. I know in New York, you have to go, and particularly New York City, you have to go through the police. You know what I'm saying? And basically, there's a lot of discretions involved in getting a firearm, a permit. You have to get the permit to get the firearm, and I believe that comes through the police department in New York City.
It's a process.
It's a whole process. Yeah, and don't have no, you know, I know in New Jersey, if you have like a restraining order against you, restraining orders jam you up with trying to get, you know, a firearm. So a lot of our sisters, when they start the battle against the brothers for child support and custody of the children, one of the tools that they tend to use is the restraining order, right? And so the restraining order is being used as a tool to isolate the father from the children. And once they get those restraining orders, especially if they can get like a permanent restraining order against you, that cuts off your ability to be able to possess a firearm. So a lot of our brothers who are in those particular predicaments, particularly in democratic states, because a lot of these laws that really are very strict seem to be in the democratic run states for the most part.
All right, let's pull up
bro.
Dr. Lee's comment here.
Okay.
She says, I agree with the firearm security for protecting your home, but ain't no ADOS black families going to prevail in an arms race.
Man, let me touch on that, bro, because nobody said, you know, with all due respect, nobody said anything about an arms race. But at least you should have a damn arm to fight with when somebody come at you. Period.
Exactly.
I mean, this is just basic Second Amendment stuff. Nobody's saying go out there and start any type of drama, or because I have absolutely no intentions on going out there. Me personally, I don't have any intentions on going to no protest. But when a society, you know, when let's just say your man in the house, and then somebody come in your house. Now, and I know they got a lot of feminine stuff where they say women don't need men and something. The first thing you go look at is your husband. And I could tell you what is going to come through his mind. He going to be like, damn, I wish I had a gun. You know, it's going to be too late then. I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Right. And that's the philosophy that I live by. Other than that, I have absolutely no intentions on bothering anybody.
He not getting tight, sis. He's speaking with a passion and an urgency that we're living in a time that we have to protect ourselves. We have to make sure that our families are protected. Period.
Yeah. I'm not getting tight with it. All the brothers that know me know that that's just how I rock. That's why I say, with all due respect, I'm not coming at nobody's neck. I'm just passionate about it. And I'm particularly passionate about it for women, because I know that the situation and the violence that women endure, half the stuff that happen to women is because a lot of women don't put the investment in their body to punch a man right in his goddamn face and let it have the effect as if he's getting punished by another man. I'm all for sisters doing that. So I mean, I'm not getting tight. I'm just passionate about that topic.
That's right. And there's nothing wrong with that, man, because the sense of urgency is real. From the things that I've been seeing, the promises of threats of violence, particularly surrounding this particular election, it's crazy. And I say people need to pay attention. If Biden wins, there's going to be a problem. If Trump wins, there's going to be a problem. From what I can see, we're on the verge of a civil war. We're on the verge of a civil war. And from what I can see, it seems like it's going to start with white people fighting against white people. And so my suggestion, going back to what was said earlier, particularly for our sisters who like to get in the middle of things, get out of their business. Stop trying to stop those people from handling their business. Stay out of it. Do like my brother Grimm is suggesting. Try to get yourself some kind of weaponry to protect yourself and your family and everything like that. Those essential, necessary things that we need as a group of people to ensure our continued existence in this country. Very simple stuff, right? We're not talking about getting involved in an arms race or a race war, but you gotta be able to fight. One of the things we always learned as we was coming up is we fight with those who fight with us. We're not trying to start any fights, but if you bring it, then we got to do it. It's that simple.
And we basically talking about just being prepared. That's all. We're not talking about going out there and joining those folks or and joining in that. We just talk about preparedness. One thing one of the sisters said that you put up on the screen that I want to address. That's the sister said something about, because I'm a combatant. Somebody else said something about prior military service, and I don't know if you can go back and highlight it. It's the sister Taylor, I think her name is LJ Taylor. She made a statement in the chat, and I mean it's a real. She asked, "Are you prior service?" I mean, me personally, yes, I am. And she said, "Let's not tell folks to arm up without saying, hey, everyone should go qualify on a gun range on the weapon of their choice and take safety gun classes." She 100% correct on that. I mean, and there's no argument with that. If you buy a firearm, the first thing that you should learn is firearm safety. Number one, never point the barrel in a direction that you don't intend to shoot. That's number one. You know, fire safety. Make sure the chamber is I hate to just go into this because the show is not just about this, but just make sure your chamber is empty and is stored or whatever. But yes, me personally, I am prior service. Yes, you should go on a gun range. You don't necessarily have to quote unquote qualify for a firearm, but you should go to learn your firearm. Firearm sales are up. Ammunition sales are up. Where y'all think all of that stuff is going? A big chunk of that is because our people see the unrest that's going on, and they buying a lot of these firearms. But you know what a lot of brothers and sisters doing with them? They say, okay, the COVID panic, I got the COVID panic. I went and bought me a gun, and they went and put that junk right in their drawer, as opposed to going to a range to learn their firearm. And period, So the sister was 100% correct. And sister Faraz, don't feel bad. Just go learn. It's still time. But just even if nothing happens and everything goes back to normal, I think that everybody should have some type of firearm training, safety, like the sister said, and women should carry a firearm. Did they teach their women and their children? This is I'm gonna say this. This is ingrained in their culture.
That's right.
And a lot of this stuff too is rooted in post-Reconstruction era laws, where our people were basically discouraged to own guns, and guns only became an issue in our families and in our household, in our communities, only when it came to underground services, if you understand what I'm talking about. So I'm that's all I wanted to say, brother.
Facts. It's a lot.
And I wanted to say real quick. I was going to say real quick. There are people in I know even in the ADOS community who are promoting things that we're talking about right now, like as far as firearms training and things like that. So you might want to reach out if you don't have somebody. I mean, if you don't know somebody like that personally, it's people in the ADOS community. So I know. I want to say Roz from the DMV is one of those individuals. So maybe y'all want to reach out to her if you have interest in that. So I just wanted to drop that in there real quick.
Wait, we got a question. I like Dr. Lily. She blends perfect antagonism and protagonism at the same time. So she has a question up. Guns are expensive for the average ADOS. Don't you ex-military guys get big discounts on buying weapons? What you say to that, Brother Grimm?
That's funny. Me personally, guns are expensive, but you have to go. It's just like anything else. Cars expensive, and some of our people poor as hell and got some of the finest cars in the world. I mean, it's just basically where your priorities are. They are. I mean, I don't want to go too much into the gun thing because I don't want this to become a gun Second Amendment thing. It's just basically like preparedness. But no, I don't get any discount on any guns. I pay the same price that anybody else will pay for the guns, except in rare circumstances. But I can point you in some directions, but I don't want this to become that kind of conversation.
Exactly. And not only that, bro, I mean, if we're talking about weapons, right, for the purpose, specifically for the purpose of self-defense, defending yourself, your property, your family, all of that. We're also looking at things like knives. That's some of the stuff that we talk about too.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the various types of knives that are available. You know, maybe you could speak on some of that, Grim, just to let people know it's not just about guns, but there are a lot of different forms of weapons that, you know, crossbows, different things, you know.
Yeah, exactly. You know, crossbows, relatively inexpensive. You can get a nice crossbow for maybe $350 or so. Practice. You can practice with it without going to a range. You know, maybe you can find some park area or some outdoor area that's safe. You know, knives. When you look up knives, or you can Google knives, just always Google tactical knives, tactical axe, tactical spears. So, and don't be walking the street like crazy. Just keep it in your home. You know, you ain't got to walk around like you're crazy with this stuff. This is stuff that someone should have in their homes to basically protect themselves. I saw a video recently with one of the, what's the thing where these stars are starting to go online and they have these personal accounts where you can see them in racy clothes and bikinis and stuff. Fans number one, or fans only. Fans only, like right? There was a video with this young lady.
OnlyFans, bro. OnlyFans.
I'm sorry.
Hey, we don't know about that stuff, Josh.
Oh yeah. Nah, me neither. Y'all gave me a clue.
Yes, I'm an older brother, so I don't know. But I'm just telling you, I didn't know what it was until I saw the video of this woman. But anyway, to make a long story short, before Josh broke in there with that foolishness. But basically, this sister was in her house. You probably can Google a video, right? She was famous, so I guess they tracked this sister down and broke into her house. She was having company. Her husband and boyfriend was there and everything, right? And just to go to Dr. Lee's points that she's making as well, and as the other sister Taylor too, is that now this is a woman now. These guys bum rushed the house. You could probably pull this video up. They bum rushed the house, pushed the guy from the back, and we're gonna talk about that too. She pushed the guy in the back, grown men in the house. At this point now, they defenseless. Everybody got laid down in the damn house. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So the lady was saying, don't shoot. I'm back here in the back room with my 7-year-old son. So guess what they start doing? They start busting into the back room, right? Guess what? That sister saved all of those guys' lives by going in there and getting a handgun and started busting back at them. And they retreated because nobody.
I know what you're talking about.
So this is a video. I mean, this is the type of things that happen. If that sister wouldn't have had that weapon, you know, ain't no telling what would have happened to all of them in that house. So these are the points, man, that I'm making. Like Ali was saying, you can get what they call melee weapons and stuff to protect your house. But let's move on to this, man, because I don't want to be talking about weapons because people will be like grim violent and the BTP brothers is this. They advocate that.
I mean, look, let me speak to that real quick. At the end of the day, it's men over here on Be the Power, real men. Like I could speak to the character of my brothers whom I've known for years. We've known each other for years. We ain't just a couple brothers that just recently got together. What we're speaking about tonight is vital. And there may be, it's a lot of single people out there. There's a lot of single brothers. There's a lot of single sisters, and especially sisters, right? And when or if this thing breaks down, we want you to be prepared. At the end of the day, we want you to be prepared. You might want to check your single status. This ain't the time to be single. We traditionally as a people, we've always been family oriented. We've never been team single. That doesn't even make sense. Team single. We've been a family oriented group, but I'm not saying you're going to get married overnight. But what I am saying that in these times right now, there's some things that have to be considered, especially as a sister, where you may live in an apartment by yourself. You should be thinking of ways to protect yourself. And we wanted to talk about some of that tonight. We definitely wanted to talk about that tonight. So, and if y'all are on Facebook, join our Facebook group, Be the Power. We got several groups, so I never know which one is the official one because I started one and it didn't go, so we changed one of the other groups.
One is a group and one is just a like.
Page. We have a like page. If you could pull the link, Ali, I could never find the group when I search for it. I could only see it when people posting it, which is kind of weird. But okay, yeah, you wanted to say something, Ali?
No. I'm just pulling up the link.
All right, the next leg of this discussion, we're gonna try to run through this real quick, but is white supremacy and the obvious threat. The obvious threat, right? So let's get into some of this. Hold on. Let's get into some of this. Let me pull this. I want to go here real quick. All right. So let's see if we can see this. Okay, yeah, this is it. This is the white extremist group Patriot Front is preparing for a world after Donald Trump. Like, this is the threat, family. And these people are rooted in anti-blackness. So let's get into this. I'm putting the link to the Facebook group in there. Usually I have our follow pages in the description as well, our Instagram, Twitter accounts, etc. I just forgot to do that this time. For those that want to keep up with what's going on, we want to possibly turn this into some form of organizing in the very near future, and I mean like by next week. So let's get into this. Now, this thing is chock full of information about this group. This was just published 2 days ago. These people walk around with flight jackets on. It says that they are in great shape. They work out. Like you won't find no fat ones among them. Like, these guys are battle combat ready. But there's this one point right here that I wanted to read. It says, and while what Patriot Front does in the meantime, putting up stickers bearing their logo in cities and college campuses, covering pro-Black Lives Matter billboards with their own propaganda, and marching in the middle of the night through empty streets may seem small, it has recruited 21 new members in the last 30 days. There's a highlight that you see right there that says, casting a ballot is a submissive gesture to legitimize tyranny. Like, it's interesting. So let's read. It says, as the United States hurdles toward the presidential election, the country seems ready to forget that its own homegrown fascism predated President Donald Trump. I don't know why they just won't use the word terrorism. terrorists, because that's what most of these people are, but at their core, they're fascists. And to ignore that, it will last after he leaves office. Yet for its part, Patriot Front couldn't care less about the results of the upcoming election. This made me scratch my head. And they quote them. It says, "It does not matter what people personally believe about it," wrote the organization's leader, Thomas Rousseau, who did not respond to a request for comment in one of the chats. Quote, "Casting a ballot is a submissive gesture to legitimize tyranny. It is fundamentally amoral. It is done as an insult to the nation's cause and the organization." This, I've watched several documentaries, I've read several articles over the past couple of days, but this particular quote bothered me extremely. Dr. Lely said fascist or anarchist. Yeah, Dr. Lely, both.
All of that.
All of that, right? Casting a ballot is a submissive gesture to legitimize tyranny. It is fundamentally amoral. It is done as an insult to the nation's cause and the organization. Now, there's
what's
another
the nation's cause?
huh?
So what's the nation's cause?
Because white supremacists believe that they are the United States of America. They fundamentally believe that. That's when we're doing battle against these people or in online groups about reparations. These are the people that we're battling against. These are the fascists. These are the people that do not care if this country descends into chaos, because they feel that they are organized and prepared to take it over, that they have the upper hand. The fact that this group doesn't care about voting is worrisome to me.
Not just that they don't care, they think it's amoral.
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 Right. And man, I just wanted to add, y'all, that, and y'all heard me say this before, these people are out here talking about their God-given right to freedom, and it's oppressive to put on a face mask in light of COVID, and freedom this, and the God bless America that. Man, those people don't really believe in that.
No.
A lot of those people are white supremacists, right? And they'll rather live in a fascist government, right? They'd rather live in a fascist government where they are the higher caste or the top of the caste system, if you will, rather than live in true freedom and equality with people that they fundamentally believe are less than them. These people are waiting for a fascist government. Some of those people who out there waving those American flags, right? Talking about God bless America and things. Those people would shred that Constitution. It's just me talking. I believe some of them would shred that Constitution.
Yeah.
If it meant them being on top, in control, and having us either in a system of slavery or quasi type of slave system. They'll be happy with that. They'll gladly live in a fascist system under Donald Trump or anybody else.
That's right. That's right. What's interesting? I wanted to jump into it, but I don't know if he wants to. You here?
Yeah. What's up?
I was going to read from that Cornerstone speech. I don't want to read. I don't want to read the piece you wanted to read. I wanted to read the other section that I sent first. Right?
Okay. No, definitely.
So this is the Cornerstone speech given in 1861 by what's that guy's name, bro?
Alexander H. Stevens. He was the vice president of
the Confederacy. That's right. He was the vice president of the Confederacy, Alexander Stevens, 1861. But listen to what he said here, right? When we start talking about the ideals of these people. He says, many governments have been founded upon the principle of the subordination and serfdom of certain classes of the same race Such were and are in violation of the laws of nature. Our system commits no such violation of nature's laws. With us, all of the white race, however high or low, rich or poor, are equal in the eye of the law. Not so with the Negro. Subordination is his place. He, by nature or by the curse against Canaan, is fitted for that condition which he occupies in our system. Just wanted to read that because these are the ideals that a lot of these people continue to carry to this day. To this day. But go ahead, bro. You can go in.
I want to share. Hold on, let me bring this up real quick. I was watching another piece on white supremacy before we went live. So I want to share something real quick with the family. This was a graphic that they had put up. Hold on. Let me see if I can. Okay, this is a graphic that they put up. And it says states at high risk for military activity. High risk, family. Georgia, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Oregon. States at moderate risk for military activity. North Carolina, Texas, Virginia, California, and New Mexico. Now, I'm in the state of Georgia. Pennsylvania, Philly is where the chaos erupted because of the death of the brother. The cops, they didn't have to kill that brother at all. Detroit is in Michigan. Wisconsin, people. Milwaukee is the twin sister of Chicago. For those that don't know how bad it is in Milwaukee when it comes to our people there. Like, these are people that, for them, I mean, they don't mind eliminating the threat, right? And even though our beefs are our beefs, they still see it as, yeah, they're killing each other, but we can help, facilitate that process and speed it up. And that's just how they think. You watch some of these videos, watch these documentaries, family. We have to be not just physically prepared, we also have to be mentally prepared, because these people, I mean, they look at the Ahmaud Arbery murder. Look at that situation. They gunned that brother down without batting an eye. That brother was doing nothing. This is how these people think. This is why we told people, get the book, The Bloody Shirt, so that you could see that these people have been domestic terrorists. Real quick. And Dr. Lily, I'm gonna pull up your other comment too. She says militia, not military. No, these people are not militia. If you look up the definition to militia, these people do not fall under the category of militia. So even if I misspoke, I'm wrong on that. These people are not militia. These people are not militia. But she says, stop, fam. We don't have a fascist government. We have some anarchists with too much time on their hands and generational wealth in their bank accounts. Right, look, I want y'all to go in.
I love, nobody said the government was fascist. I like how people, what you say, and give it a little nice.
Grim, let me say this.
Yeah.
When it comes to our people, we faced nothing but fascism from this government.
Right.
We've hardly gotten any justice in their courts. We've hardly got any financial gains through the financial institutions. To us, we've been living under fascism. We became the property of one man to the property of all men after slavery.
Right. But let me clarify my statement, brother, man. Basically, what I was saying was that these white supremacists would rather live under a fascist government and throw all of that freedom stuff that they talking about with the American flag waving stuff, you know, they'll throw that stuff away in the garbage, man, if they could put us back in a system of true slavery, servitude, quasi-slavery. As long as they're at the top of the food chain, they'll live under a fascist government. That's basically what I was saying.
Indeed. I mean, she said I respectfully disagree. It's all good. We love your little your spars when you come through. So I told you the perfect blend of antagonists and protagonists when you come in the chat. We love it. We love it. Yeah, so let me see what this sister said. This is an interesting comment. She said, exactly. That's why I feel our place is not in the streets. Let the neoliberals fight that battle. We can't get distracted by the obvious racist idiots when the Democrats making moves that kill.
Right.
I agree with that. I mean, at the end of the day, I agree. I wanted to stress two issues here tonight. We wanted to stress two issues. One is, let them people fight it out. Antifa means anti-fascist. There's some people that's against Antifa, but I don't understand how our people are looking at Antifa as the bad guys. And I mean, what do y'all think about the people that they're fighting against, the fascists? That part is mind-boggling to me.
Right, and that goes back to what you say, Brother Wade L, that a lot of our people, even a lot of our people in these conscious community circles, man, in the last, I want to say 4 years to 5 years, man, a lot of those people have adopted right-wing talking points.
That's right.
And that's why we see these things, you know, just like what you just said about Antifa. I didn't mean to interrupt you, beloved.
Oh no, go ahead, brother.
But that's why, man, you know, a lot of people have just adopted a whole bunch of these talking points from these people, and a lot of this misinformation campaign has been extremely embedded in our community, man, through even some of these YouTube personalities, man.
All right, we got Sister Dr. Lily again. She said those guys who killed Ahmaud were some Southern racist yahoos, not fascists or militia. Haven't they been charged with murder? Let me speak to this real quick, and bros, y'all can jump in. There's a network of white supremacy, and this network has tentacles. At the highest levels, there's government. There's media. I guess at the mid levels, you could say there's the financial systems. Then there's the police. There are private citizens who are racist, who are in line with the police. They go to the same clubs. They may be part of the Elks or whatever local organization. They may be a part of the same fraternities. They may be a part of the same Masonic lodges, et cetera, et cetera. These people are cool. They feel that they can do what they did to Ahmaud Arbery and get away with it. This is a organized system. And one of the documentaries that I watched, matter of fact, two of the documentaries that I watched, when it was ex-FBI plus the people that were doing the research. So one of the ex-FBI said, you know, when I brought this to the upper brass, you know, they swept it under the rug. They just swept it under the rug. Like basically they could have stomped this thing out, and they didn't. They let it happen. So this lets you know that these people don't think that white supremacists are a threat. Many of them are in line with white supremacy. Many people that are a part of the Federal Bureau of Investigation are Republicans. How do we know that? Because this has come out since the whole impeachment with Trump with Robert Mueller, all in the news. When Trump was accusing them of being deep state, many pundits on TV and the talking heads said, but most of the FBI are Republicans. Robert Mueller was a Republican. Trump kept saying 13 angry Democrats. Most of the people that he were naming were Republicans. This is a system. This is a system. So the militia are white supremacists. They're fascists that they feel that they could carry out extrajudicial killings in the way that they did with Brother Ahmaud Arbery and get away with it. They felt that they were going to get away with it, and they almost did, because the prosecutor, who was a part of that same system, the sheriff, who was a part of that same system, tried to make this thing go away.
Mm-hmm. That's a fact.
And Ali, you was about to add something? Because I just
No, I was concurring with exactly what he was saying, man. This is the exact reason why it takes so long for charges to be brought against average citizens. These were not police officers that killed Ahmaud Arbery, man. These was just regular citizens. Same thing with Trayvon Martin, a regular citizen killed that young man, but it took a while before they were even able to bring charges against him. But go ahead, Gwen, what were you going to say?
No, I just wanted to add to what the doctor was saying. You know, how you know they wasn't militia? They probably just wasn't arrested in connection to their militia group. That's a possibility. I'm not saying that's what it is. And like Way L said, you know, like Naheem said, this thing is all connected and it has tentacles everywhere. And then on top of that, they're all sympathizers. You think those two guys don't sympathize with some militia group training in the forest somewhere? I mean, come on, man.
Right, exactly.
Oh yeah. So
and we know that being charged is not the same as prosecuted and convicted and sentenced, right? But we're just saying this, the mere fact that it's hard for us to even get a lot of these people charged in many instances. Like, they drag their feet because they're really trying to protect these guys. You know what I mean? That's really what we're speaking to, more so than the fact that they're sometimes able to beat the cases during prosecution. But what were you getting ready to say, Naheem?
Oh no, I was trying to pull up something, but I can't find it right now. So
okay, yeah. So I mean, that's a problem. We've seen in the Breonna Taylor case a problem inside of the prosecution. One of the things that, you know, I was talking to a former prosecutor friend of mine, who's now a defense attorney, talking about the ex parte grand jury proceeding and how problematic that particular proceeding is and has been for Black Americans in terms of being able to find justice from the beginning to the end. You know, the interesting thing about the ex parte grand jury proceeding is that it allows a one-sided presentation into the courtroom to the members of the grand jury, whereas oftentimes Black folks who need to be able to present their side of a story aren't able to do so. And many things are defeated in the grand jury process. A lot of times cases are thrown out just based on the fact that prosecutors present things in a way where they're actually representing police officers in many instances, as opposed to trying to present a case to bring charges against police officers. A lot of these people are in bed with each other. Many people in the prosecutor's office have family members who are also police officers, and they work closely together. So that in terms of the system and how the system does not work to our benefit, that's just one of the many instances that we can point to. What were you going to say, Brother Naheem?
I pulled up this article. I want to share. Let me see. Hold on. I want to share this real quick with the family. It was a certain part that I was looking for because I was reading it before we came on. It was like it came up right on time. But the name of this article is from Raw Story. It's called "Signs of a Coming Conflict Are Everywhere. Why a Second Civil War Would Be Quite Different from the First." And it says, in 2020, the United States has been rocked by everything from a deadly pandemic and the brutal recession to civil unrest and a long list of cities to fears that violent conflicts will occur either on election day or after the election. So one of the things that this article gets into is technology is different. Like it's a whole, it says certainly the US has had plenty of unrest in the past, from riots and assassinations during the 1960s to the Los Angeles riots in 1992. But Galt, the person whose article they're drawing this information from, views 2020 as especially disturbing. See, one of the things about what I was watching with the documentaries on white supremacy and these fascist groups was that they had went dormant for a minute. President Barack Obama's election, it brought them back out. And one of the things that they failed to say was how Fox News was stoking that racism. They were stoking the embers, if you will. I don't even want to call it embers because this fire has never been put out. But they were fanning the flames of the most extreme people in the United States of America. They spoke to the origins of Ruby Ridge and this guy, what was his name? Randy Weaver, I believe. And there was a standoff and this guy got killed. No, he didn't get killed. His wife, his son, and several other family members got killed. That was what really set it off. That's what made them come together. The other thing was Waco, Texas. And although the guy that was running Waco, David Koresh, wasn't in any of that right-wing malicious stuff, people like Timothy McVeigh saw that as a sign that they needed to strike back at the federal government. This is why they hit that building. I believe that was in Oklahoma. And what he said what he was trying to do was spark the race war. He said it, trying to spark the war. That helter-skelter that, what's his name, Manson was talking about. Charles Manson. Yeah. So there was this part in here that I probably won't be able because I'm trying to speed through it. Let's see. I mean, but y'all could go in though while I'm looking for this piece to pull up.
Yeah, so I mean, this is a very it's a very telling, very interesting time period that we're in, right? And I think at the end of the day, what people have to do is take this thing very seriously. You have to take it all very seriously because something is impending. I mean, I can tell. You can feel it in the air. You can see it with a lot of the postings, a lot of these articles that we're pulling up. That I have one pulled up called "Signs of a Coming Conflict Are Everywhere." While a second civil war would be quite different from the first. This was published today, I believe.
I think that's what I'm on right now.
That's the same one. Oh, okay.
From Raw Story.
Yep. Raw Story. Yep. They got another one from USA Today. Guns, lies, and ballots set on fire. That was from earlier today as well. 10:55 this morning. USA Today. Guns, lies, and ballots set on fire. So something is brewing. Looking at going back to those videos that we showed of what's happening in New York City, looking at some of the videos of what's happening in Philadelphia, and this has been pretty much the case since George Floyd. You know what I mean? Something is happening, and I feel like the country is ripe for an explosion.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna read no more of that, but it was basically just, it was one guy that has experience in looking at these types of events, meaning civil wars, and he basically said that, this is different. Dr. Lely said people have the attention span of a gnat. This too shall pass. I mean, look, sis. Yeah. Look, white supremacy has its roots in our slavery and our oppression. It has its greatest zenith, if you will, after our ancestors are freed. After the passage of the 13th Amendment, after the what is the one Lincoln put out before the 13th Amendment?
This 18 is it this not the 1866 Civil Rights Act?
No, not that.
Emancipation.
Yeah, the Emancipation Proclamation. So all of these different things started to culminate. And, you know, like I said earlier, we became the property of one man to the property of one white man to the property of all white men. And this thing has never been a issue that attention wasn't placed on. The attention span of white supremacy dates back to during Reconstruction, and they have never ever taken their eye off the ball. They just went underground. They hibernated, and Obama was the perfect quiet before the storm, if you will, and then comes Trump, and now we have riots in the streets of New York. Brooklyn and Manhattan is going crazy right now. That's something that we have to think about as we move forward. You know, this is not one of those riots that is going to just pass. If this guy Trump doesn't get elected, you have groups that are vowing civil war. They are empowered by a man that says stand down and stand by, or stand back and stand by.
Stand back and stand by.
All right, look, I want to pull her comment up, Dr. Lely. And you can speak to this, Brother Ali. White supremacy ain't going nowhere anytime soon. But I simply don't hold to this doomsday worldview. White supremacy is a meme and will always evolve to survive. What do you say to that, Brother Ali?
Well, I think that the point is being missed. My point is not about white supremacy and them exercising dominance and oppression over our people, because that's always been there, right? That's never gone anywhere. What I'm seeing is a buildup of a clash coming between white people. Older whites, basically what it looks like is you have some older whites clashing with younger white people. That's what it seems to be at this point right now. And I think that it's going to happen. Is it going to last forever? Nothing lasts forever. No, we're not saying that. Like she said, this too shall pass. Yeah, the Civil War passed. The Civil Rights era passed, right? Chattel slavery came. It lasted for a certain amount of time, 200 and something years. It passed. That doesn't mean it didn't happen. Doesn't mean it ain't going to happen. We had a civil war before. This country's been in many wars, and it has had a civil war. So the point is, just because it will pass doesn't mean that there is not going to be an explosion. We're going to do a show talking about the many so-called race riots that have occurred around this country, which were really terrorist attacks against our people around this country over the last 100 years at least, right? Even right here in Harlem, there have been race riots that a lot of people aren't even aware of that I want to bring to light. You know, so the point is, they passed, but they did happen. That's the point. And so what I see impending is something that's going. I see a powder keg, right, between white folks, though. Understand what I'm saying? I think that white folks are going to clash with each other, and it'll probably ultimately spill over into black folks getting involved in it. But initially, what I think is going to happen, based on what the videos that I'm seeing, there's another video that we had where there was some white Trumps, I call them Trumpites, versus Bidenites right out in the street. Y'all remember that video where they started fighting with each other? And these are all white folks doing this, right? Most of this stuff is white folks. Right here in New York, the videos that we showed, most of what was going on between white cops and younger white people out in the street who are trying to quote unquote buck the system, whatever they're out there doing. They're the ones that are breaking the glasses, that are shattering the windows, setting things on fire, setting the police cars on fire, smash. It's white kids generally the ones doing all of this kind of stuff right here in New York City. So what I'm saying is, I think that that's going to be the thing that's going to happen first. White people are going to clash with each other. That's why initially we were saying, what our folks have to understand is when that happens, get your ass out of the way. Stay out of that. Let those people do whatever the hell it is they're getting ready to do. You get the hell out of the way and make sure you have what you need to take care of yourself and your family once the shit comes your way. That's what we're saying. So initially, what I see happening is a clash between white people, right? We've been seeing it ever since the George Floyd incident. You've been seeing it out in the streets. Most of the clashes has been between white kids and older white kids and white cops. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, indeed. I know Brother Josh, he's kind of busy right now, and I don't know if he wanted to add a few words. Brother Grimm had to step away for a second.
Yeah,
but
brother, man.
Oh, okay. Did you want to add anything, brother?
Yeah, just the only thing I wanted to add to is going back and, just be aware. Just be aware of your surroundings while all of this going on. Just keep your head up. Some people don't have situational awareness, bro, because you could be a victim at any time. And I know Ali was talking about the clashes, but just in your personal life, even if you go into the polls to do what you need to do, just be aware of what's going on around you. Look around, as the youngsters say, keep your head on the swivel, and that going in your house or whatever, because just like we was talking about these organized groups of white supremacists, you never know when they might want to make an example of you, or one of your loved ones. So, just keep the head on the swivel. Be aware of your surroundings. That's more important than anything. I know we talked about the weapons and this, that, and the other, but just be and I don't know. Like I say, I keep talking about the sisters. Sisters have a lot of stuff on their mind, but keep your head on the swivel. Be aware. Always look 30, 40 feet ahead of you when you're going somewhere. I was looking at another post that somebody put out there. And they said that a white guy rolled up on him with a ninja sword, and he said that he never used this. This man said he had a concealed carry for 11 years and never had to use it, never even had to point a gun at a human being. But he pulled out his gun with this guy with this ninja sword, and the guy backed down, sheathed his sword and went about his business. So I'm just saying that not to talk about the weapon, but to also talk about your situational awareness, where you can avoid a situation, turn around, get away before it's too late, and not get too deep into the mix. The greatest form of self-defense is avoidance. Number one, if you could avoid the fight, and if you can't avoid the fight, then you have to do what you have to do. But just remain aware. ADOS family, Black family, all our people out there, this is a war. We got a class war going on. It's not just a race war. It's just a lot of things going on out there. It's left versus right. And I have no intentions, me personally, I have no intentions on going out there and get into anybody war. I know we mad. I know we angry about certain situations and how this stuff is going and stuff like that. But let them have at it. And I want to go. I want to say this, right? And like whatever your religion is. Whatever you live, your spirituality, whatever. And I'm not trying to put the caveat out there, but Noble Drew Ali said y'all could help me out, right? Because this go on to some of the other science that I put down on my old YouTube page. But Noble Drew Ali said this, and I don't know if y'all address this or not, but y'all can help me out with the quote because I'm rusty, because I don't get into my studies like I used to, because that movement is filled with a bunch of goddamn clowns, which has nothing to do with Drew Ali. But anyway, Noble Drew Ali said that one day the hand of industry, of every industry, I think he said, is going to stop. And when it restarts, it's going to be back in the hands of our people. So I'm going to just leave it at that.
One day, every wheel of industry is going to stop. And when it starts back up again, it'll be in our favor. So, hey, get out the way. Let them do what they will with each other. And for us, let's continue to study government. I'm going to be putting out a BTP civics guide really soon. And, be on the lookout for that. You already know congressional focus 2022 is, from the point this election ends. I mean, it's already the focus, but that's when we're going to start. Again, we don't know this thing might just really descend into chaos. One thing I can say about all of those so-called militia groups is that they are all on the same page when it comes to certain issues. They differ in some things. Some of them disavow certain events. They disavow certain acts of violence, etc. But when it comes to America being this lily white utopia that they want with a fascist dictator king, they are all on the same page, and I believe that they're willing to wipe every last one of us out if they could. I believe that. No one can shake me off of that belief. So yeah. So we just wanted to get on here tonight and chop it up a little bit with the family. Any of the bros had anything else that they wanted to add on?
Well, I would just want to say I appreciate everybody for tuning in, man. There go brother Josh. Josh wanted to add in. You could go ahead, bro. I just want to say thank everybody for tuning in to the show, and peace and love. Go ahead, Josh.
It was something else that before people hop off, I thought we was going to get a chance to cover. That I had sent something in the chat, but now that I'm here, y'all cool if I get into it?
Oh yeah, go ahead, bro. You know how you come at the end all the time.
Yeah, that's why y'all can't get off early. You never know what might be dropped.
Yo, wait, let me say, Josh do this all the time. I'll be like, all right, we're about to close it out. This dude Facebook pop up on the screen and he just start going in. I'm like,
yeah, man. Yeah, man. Oh man. All right. So let me scroll back. I'm trying to get this link. I was handling family business, man. Sometimes, it's I guess people, don't understand the sacrifice you have to make sometimes to do these type of shows. And we juggling all kind of stuff. We juggling family, people sick, and you got kids, and you just try to get it in however you can. So I apologize.
That's a fact, man.
I apologize,
we have
y'all.
Families.
Yeah. But heck, man, can y'all see that? Oh, man, my browser's
I don't see anything.
So oh man. Why won't it let me get to this thing, man?
What is it you're trying to pull up?
The one that I had I replied to, but for some reason.
Hold on, let me see. Let me see if I can get it for you.
I can send it again.
All right.
Because this is something I thought was very important, and we didn't get a chance to get to. I'm about to send it to myself in another.
All right.
But see, yeah, this is why y'all got to stick around sometimes until you hear brother Naheem say.
So just
the motto of the show, you gotta stick around. Oh, I got it now. Hold up. I had to send it to myself on the phone. But I'm gonna share the screen here. Hold on.
Yo, tomorrow, while you're doing that tomorrow, I might go live early, family. I want to talk about these articles that have been coming out. Black America will have no one else to blame.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I want to talk about that tomorrow. So we might dedicate
Oh, well,
an
my
hour.
bad.
That's the one he was getting ready to pull up, bro.
You wanted to pull up? No, okay. Oh no, go ahead, brother. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, see how we on the same page, man. You already knew that we had to get into this one at some point. But yeah, so
Why
this
stick
right here.
around for Josh finales.
Oh, what happened to this thing, man?
You want me to share it, yo?
Oh, hold on, I got it. It's just they got so many crazy.
Hey, while y'all doing that, hey Grim, people asking how y'all doing in New Orleans.
Here it is.
Oh yeah, man, there was a lot of wind damage. You know, a little small street flooding. Thank God, nothing crazy, but you know, a lot of wind damage, man. It could have been much worse. Personally, you know, I just had just little basic damage to my home. Nothing that can't be fixed. So all is well.
That's good, man.
You know, all my animals okay, so I'm good, man. So my carpentry skills are pretty good, man. Because I thought my stuff was gonna fall apart.
That's good, man. That's good. Shout out to all my people in New Orleans and Louisiana in general that got affected by that storm.
Yeah.
I got it ready if you want
Oh,
to.
brother, let me give a shout out to ADOS New Orleans, man, because a couple of the brothers in the chat and maybe some of the sisters too. But yeah, man, I give a shout out to ADOS NOLA.
Definitely.
No doubt.
So this article says, USA Today says, Black America will have no one else to blame if we do not seize this moment to vote. What? What? Yeah, look. So I'm gonna read through some of it. It says Black voters have Biden's attention much more than they ever had or will have Trump's. Grab a chance to correct 400 years of systemic oppression. See, right there, it's like it's very problematic. Right there, it's offensive if you're not talking about reparations. See, you try to allude to slavery and the history of slavery, but you're not putting any of the onus on fixing it or committing to fixing it as a part of any type of exchange. So okay, let's read through it. It says last winter during a focus group in Grand Rapids, Michigan, a Black man who rarely votes told me he was tired of hearing sound bites of what people think he wants to hear because he's Black. He said he wants to see specific proposals and measurable results. Yeah, we want a specific agenda, specific policies to ADOS. These comments underscored the concern many Democrats had about whether Black folks would show up in large numbers in 2020, in larger numbers in 2020, excuse me, than they did in 2016, and whether Black men in particular would support President Donald Trump and the Republicans who enabled him. Then the pandemic hit, and the impact of the virus in the Black community justifiably became a huge cause for concern. And then George Floyd was killed, and a national discussion about systemic injustice and police brutality ensued. Now, as we approach Election Day, the question remains, will Black Americans turn out to vote this year? Where was it? Man, I didn't scrolling too fast. Man. I'm not gonna read this whole thing. Oh, here it is. As a Black pollster specializing in research in underserved communities, I often hear sentiments like, why should Black people vote? Politicians don't care about people who look like me, and why should we vote for the Democrats? They take our votes for granted. These feelings aren't necessarily wrong, yet in this moment, with two starkly contrasting national paths in front of us, it's very critical that every eligible American vote, okay? So it said now it says Black voters make the real difference. In 2016, Trump would not have won had black voters been more motivated to vote. In Michigan, where Trump won by 11,000 votes, there are almost 393,000 eligible black voters who stayed at home. 277,000 in Detroit. If the black community turns out this year, we could hold the key to turning a number of red and purple states solidly blue. Now, you know, we got all kind of problems. You know, y'all can stop me if y'all want to jump in and address them. I'm gonna address them. But it says, for example, 2016, Trump won Florida by a mere 113,000 votes, where more than 1 million black voters across the Sunshine State chose not to vote. 379,000 in Miami. In Georgia, where Trump won by just 211,000 votes, 530,000 black voters in Atlanta and 898 eligible black voters statewide did not participate. See, you know, but it's some. Well, I'm gonna let them get through it. If your friends and family need persuading, remind them how the pandemic cast into sharp relief how this president and the nation more broadly think about black people. Trump is an unabashed sympathizer of white supremacy. It is clear that he doesn't see black people. He doesn't see our struggle. He doesn't see our pain. He doesn't see us dying. In many ways, the nation has not been seeing black America for some time. And not when we're sick, unemployed, or when we are assaulted by one of the institutional hallmarks of America, the judicial system and law enforcement. How many times have we heard, we need to have a serious national discussion about race, yet the status quo remains? So why I don't understand why he keeps bringing up the stuff we already know in the problems that we all can agree on, but not having us make a call for them to actually, you know, be addressed or implement some type of political consequence. Anyway, so now where's the part? Where's the part I wanted to get to? Oh, right here. It says Black America must grasp the moment and unite behind Biden's campaign so we can end the mass incarceration of black people, institute real police reforms, secure greater access to capital, and mandate greater pay equity between blacks and whites. Moreover, we must insist that our voting protections in the Civil Rights Act of 1964 be made permanent so our right to vote will no longer be subject to political whims. Okay, like, yeah, that would make sense if that was a part of his program. So we must grasp the moment and unite behind Biden's campaign now. But Biden's campaign doesn't have a commitment to ending the mass incarceration that it implemented. It have y'all
Right.
on that? It doesn't. It hasn't committed to institute police reforms. It isn't committed to getting us not no greater access to capital, equal or access to capital that is in line with catching us up to white wealth. It is not committed to mandate a pay equity. You know, I don't want greater pay equity. I want pay equity. I want it. It needs to be. You need to make a commitment to closing those gaps. And so it's harder for us. What sense does it make for us to unite behind somebody who told us immigrants are the future, or unite behind somebody that has not committed to anything for us? And see, I have a problem with this, especially when I talk about up here. You know, we said this already. Maybe I'm not saying anything that most of y'all know, but it's a lot of other people that tune in, that's tuning in now, that may have not heard this enough. Look at the numbers of voters that chose not to vote. I mean, if you saw that number go down, or if you saw that lack of participation with Hillary Clinton, why in the world would you think it is going to improve under Jim Crow Joe Biden? That doesn't make any kind of sense to me.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know, Josh, man, if I could jump in there for 1 second, this is the problem. To add to what you're saying, beloved, this is the problem that the Democratic Party has. The Democratic Party has a large contingency, and nobody really talks about this. The Democratic Party has a large contingency of middle right people in their party that, if they give any inclination of ADOS specific policies and endeavor to close the racial wealth gap, those people will jump on the Trump bandwagon at the drop of a dime. And nobody talks about this. So that's why you always get, I'm not going to do anything to help just black people. No. This is why we get those things.
I laugh every time I hear that. Every time I say it, I chuckle. I can't help it.
This is why we get those things. And I'm glad you pulled that article up, Josh, because that kind of segue into another thing that we talked about earlier that maybe we could jump into on another show. And when they keep saying, oh, we got to seize the time to put him in office and this, that, and the other, right? Basically, what they're going to do is if they lose this thing, and y'all know what I'm about to say, they're going to blame black male voters for not showing up to the poll. They already creating this polarizing dynamic that more black women do this, more black women vote for this, more black women vote. But like, we gonna make this analogy, and I don't, man, y'all think I should do the analogy that I did earlier or save that for another time?
Yeah, you might as well. Yeah, we could end on that one.
Yeah. I'm gonna say peace.
No. I mean, you could bring it up. I thought that was an excellent analogy because I want to touch on this. I want to give this topic some real light. I want to shine a real light on this topic.
Indeed. So what we're talking about here is that the black men that don't show up to the polls, right? They're going to ostracize us, alienate us, and possibly even blame us for Joe Biden loss if he loses, right? And I equated this to church. When you see a church, right? The church is mostly supported by black women.
Black women.
And a lot of black women go to church, whereas a lot of black men don't go to church, right?
That's right.
So we ask ourselves, why don't black men go to church, right? But a lot of black men don't go to church because black men know the game. They know the pastor is a pimp. They know that their hard-earned money, is not really going for nothing except making a pastor and his wife, the first lady, rich. So a lot of black men divest from those institutions. So what? The same thing with politics. So I made the analogy that the church and politics for black men is almost the same thing because black men have not seen any specific remedy for politics, so to speak. So a lot of black men don't participate. And that what ends up happening is that you have these systems in place, like the unjust family court law that a lot of black men are victims of. So black men be like, man, bump that. I'm not participating. Because they know the game. That's the analogy that I make. So, but to close out in the segue what Josh was saying, they gonna try to blame us if this thing don't go the way that they want it to go.
Indeed.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think there's a lot of sisters that understand the game. I just think that it's just a different dynamic in that relationship, and I think that usually the person that's in the church is a pastor, and that dude's a female. I mean, excuse me, that dude's a female, and that dude is a man. It's a male pastor. So from one man, hearing the hustle from another man, and I'm not trying to come at anybody that's a part of any of those institutions. It's just an analogy, but it's
just an analogy.
You understand the game that's played to make the appeal to the opposite sex, and that appeal sometimes is what keep the appeal. The appeal is not often enough. There's more often than not directed at us. The same at the same amount of time as it is to the opposite sex. But I wanted to just end just reading the end of this article. We can debate that other part later on another show. But it says this year the mood and the moment have aligned in a way not seen in at least 3 generations. Let's make this our 40 acres and a mule moment when we demand that America correct the long list of injustices that linger after 40 years of systemic oppression. Don't let this window close without our voices being heard. Another one might not open again during our lifetimes. So one thing I don't understand is how we can make these shut up and go vote articles, shut up and go vote for blue articles when, and use the 40 acres and a mule lingo, but not demand reparations. Like, I understand and not have that as, and not have the addressing of this thing be a something that is a part of the platform. Like, well, especially after, I mean, before Joe Biden even ran, we were holding his feet to the fire. He was getting blasted. News media was covering him at the crime bill. We were talking about reparations. We had reparations on the debate stage. He pivoted in with insulting comments. Like, even if Joe Biden never did the crime bill, his statements during his campaign alone are extremely inflammatory, disrespectful, dismissive, in a reason that he should have made significant adjustments to his platform to accommodate our demands, just without the crime bill. Now, once you add the crime bill alone, it's borderline like, it's just very, very difficult to see how anybody should be telling us that, or trying to guilt trip us for not wanting to vote for this man. Look, I don't want no Trump. I'm definitely not down for Trump. But what I'm saying is, it's like we're saying, it's set up to try to blame. Listen, look, I'm gonna scroll back up and look at the language. I'm gonna scroll back up so we can look at the language that was used up here. It says, Black America must seize this moment. It is more than just our prerogative to vote. It is our obligation. So it's our obligation, after all I just mentioned, to vote. And when they say vote, they're talking about vote Democrat, because they know we captured voting over 90%.
Right.
It's our obligation to do that, or else what? Or else you're gonna blame the whole thing on us? What, and not blame it on Latinos, or blame it on white folks, or blame it on, who vote a large percentage Republican. Why? So, I mean, these are things that we got to reconcile. So I just have a problem when people write these type of articles, and I can't help but to go and look up, and this is no disrespect to this brother, whatever the case may be, but when we read about the background of the author, it's like, who are you to be talking to us like this? Let's look at it, as a practice at GSG, Global Strategy Group, underserved communities of color. That's a problem right there. Is moderated hundreds of focus groups with people of color on topics including mobilizing the Black vote. See, mobilizing the Black vote? So basically, bring the Black vote to the Democrats. Get as many as you can. Not mobilizing for transformative policy or meaningful policy. Not mobilizing behind that. Okay. Protecting LGBTQ rights. Okay. Is that where you coming from, brother? I don't know. Protecting voting rights and mass incarceration. I don't understand that. So I'm not trying to come at this dude. If he's watching, look, it's not a shot at you. I'm just saying, when I see articles that are where you're using language like we have some type of obligation, using words like we're obligated, and using words talking about 40 acres and a mule, but you ain't talking about we need to be demanding reparations from whoever we giving our vote to for an exchange. And whether that translates to it happen in this term or not, that's a problem for me. That's a problem. And every time we see these type of articles come out, we need to be outing them and coming right at their face, because we have to send a message back to these media channels. When these people come out with this kind of stuff, we reject it and throw it back in their face as disrespect. And that's all I wanted to say, family.
All right. We going in on you on the back. On the back channel.
Oh man, my bad. I can't even see. All right, now.
Definitely. I'm glad we had the conversation tonight, family. You know, we bring a little levity to it with a little laughter, but I believe that we are in a very serious time right now. And I mean, we've always been in a serious time, as you know, those of us who descend from this institution called slavery in America. But right now is, you got people that's marching the streets with AR-15 long guns, as they're called, and their whole ideology is rooted in and centered around anti-blackness. They may say, no, we got a black guy in our group or a Hispanic in the Proud Boys or something like that. Their core grounding is anti-blackness, anti-black people, particularly us, those of us that got blood and bones buried in the soil here, going back to the foundation of this country. And I think that, we wanted to have this conversation tonight so that we could get some type of broader organization going. I don't care if it's just sisters linking up with sisters so y'all can learn how to can. I think this is a perfect time for that. Learn how to can fruits. And we might do a part 2 to this as well. I might go live one of these next couple of days. Might go live tomorrow. And we can let Josh go in tomorrow and finish talking about this topic because I want to talk about it anyway. So we might come on a little early tomorrow night because I want to do a live stream called something about blaming black men. I don't know what the title will be yet, but we've been on here 2 hours now. Thank you, everybody. For those of you who didn't hit the like button, hit the like button on your way out. Thank you for watching. I'm gonna leave y'all with our platform's motto, which is don't just fight the power, become the power, and then you will have the power to make a change. And with that, I say peace.